In the mid-19th century, the quiet, remote American West was not yet the developed region we know today. California, which had been under U.S. control for only a few months at the time, was a sparsely populated region with a few small settlements. But a chance discovery changed the fate of this region and influenced the history of the entire country. On January 24, 1848, at Sutter's mill near the town of Coloma, carpenter James Marshall noticed shiny yellow grains in the water. It was gold. At first, they tried to keep the news a secret, but the sensation quickly spread. By the end of the year, thousands of people had moved to California in search of wealth. This mass movement was called the Gold Rush. A real wave of migration began. In 1849, which was the peak year, more than 90,000 forty-niners, as those who went in search of gold were called, arrived in California. People came from all corners of the United States, as well as from Europe, Latin America, China, and Australia. Some sailed around Cape Horn, others through the Isthmus of Panama, and the most desperate traveled overland through deserts and mountains. Searching for gold was not easy. Most diggers lived in tent camps and worked with primitive tools. They washed the soil in barrels and used trays and sieves. Only a few were lucky enough to get rich. For the most part, the big profits went to merchants, supply store owners, transporters, and bankers who sold equipment and food to the gold diggers. The consequences of the gold rush were enormous. California's population grew tenfold in just a few years. Small settlements gave way to new cities. San Francisco transformed from a small port into a bustling commercial city. In 1850, California became the 31st state of the United States. However, the fever also had a dark side. Mass migration led to the displacement and suffering of indigenous Indian tribes, violence and chaos in mining camps, speculation, and rising crime. Many people lost everything without ever finding the wealth they dreamed of. By the mid-1850s, the main deposits had been exhausted, and the gold rush gradually faded away. But its legacy left a deep mark. California became an economically important region, and myths about easy riches and the American dream became firmly entrenched in U.S. culture. The California Gold Rush is not just a story about the search for precious metal. It is a symbol of an era when the belief in the possibility of quick success attracted thousands of people and shaped a new American identity, changing the map of the country and the world's perception of the American West.